Welcome to Vicious Talk with Benny P. Coming up, an exciting episode today, jam-packed with some new content, some new type of content here for Vicious Talk. We've been predominantly sports-themed here on our podcast, and I'm bringing back my guest, Connor Larson, who has been a regular here on the podcast lately, discussing a lot of football. And we got a new guest, a very special guest, an old friend of both Connor and I, one of our old roommates from college, one of our best friends from college, one of our best friends for life. And we're really looking forward to bringing him on to Vicious Talk for the first time. It's been long overdue. My good friend, Austin McCusker, out of Newton, Massachusetts. Austin is. Connor's from Avon, Connecticut. So, and looking forward to, we're going to break down some hip hop and some rap here on episode 64. And, just looking forward to chatting it up with some good friends, Connor and Austin. Welcome, guys.
What's poppin', Benny?
Hey, happy to be here, Benny. Thanks for having me.
Of course.
Austin, It's great to see that beautiful face of yours, kid.
Right?
Hey, you as well, man.
Yeah. Austin was there originally when, I came up with the idea of Vicious Talk with Benny P. He was, he was in the brainstorming, like the little brainstorming sessions we used to have back in Boston. When I lived out there, we would hang out almost every day, chatting it up, listening to all kinds of different music. And so that's been, Austin and I had a long friendship throughout college and for the years afterwards. And obviously we still do. And music was always kind of intertwined into our friendship. Austin was one of the first individuals who really exposed me to some obviously I came from Los Angeles, and when you're from one region and obviously I'm so far away, I went all the way out to Massachusetts, and I was exposed to a lot of different things, and music was one of those things.
Sure.
And Austin was really, he was my freshman year roommate, and we spent a lot of time, just talking about our likes and our dislikes in life, and music was always playing in the room, and Austin had that boom tower speaker.
Oh,
and yeah, dude,
we got written up a few times for that one.
That tower, dude, it was bumping. The whole floor knew when we were listening. That's for sure.
Yeah, Milady 3C back in at the Holy Cross Milady days.
Yeah, dude. It might have not always been when you wanted to have the music on, but the music was for damn sure always on.
Dude,
the man with the playlist.
The thing is, too, that's hilarious too, is I remember Austin was going through a breakup like the first month or so of college, and the songs were real gloomy sometimes, or like real emotional, like just real made you feel
going through
We're
it.
Going there. Yeah. We're going there, huh?
I think we all went through a breakup the first month of college, though. Totally. That's kind of the experience.
That's the thing.
It really was.
But yeah, Austin really exposed me to some of my favorite types of music that I still listen to this day. Guys like Big Crit, Logic, I'm not even giving it justice to the plethora of artists that Austin kind of exposed me to it. And really, Austin was very Austin used to use Def Jam, right, a lot to download some of the or what was it, the
Dat Piff.
Sorry, I used to use Dat Piff all the time, right?
Yeah, you're good though. You're good. Yeah, dude, Dat Piff. I'm sure we'll be talking about some specific examples later of what Dat Piff had to offer, but some of them still aren't on streaming platforms, know. So to get that older mix,
I use SoundCloud. I try to use SoundCloud to get access to those old Dat Piff files, but
that's the only place you can really find them. Unless you want like a YouTube, 480p version, you're looking for SoundCloud or that Dat Piff download. But dude, so many good tapes out there. We'll talk about them later, I'm sure.
Totally. All right. So
Austin's stop talking about the guys that I expose you to. These are going to be my picks for the draft.
You're exposing me, bro.
Foreshadowing. So episode 64, we had this idea of, all three of us are heavily involved in fantasy football and fantasy sports. And we had this idea of coming up with a fantasy style draft of our favorite topics. And we started off with the topic of hip hop and rap artists. And so we're going to do an 8-round fantasy sports style snake draft of our favorite rappers and hip hop artists. And so us three contestants, we're going to be selecting our favorite artists to compose basically our own hypothetical music labels here. And the rules for the draft, I could list them off for our listeners here. So first, we must select an artist to fulfill each of the roles I will read off at the end of this. It does not need to be in any particular order. So we don't need to, there's not a designated role for each round. It's basically truly like a fantasy football style draft where you're filling in your roster. You could prioritize which role you'd like more so than the others, or there's a lot of strategy to it. When we'll get to those as well, I'm sure. But we're going to be trying to compile a label of artists that make a little bit of sense if they were to work and collaborate together. So, obviously don't want, like Jay-Z and I don't know, like Post Malone or something like that. Like, I don't know. I don't see how those two would be, meshing too much. So we also
some guys that have beef.
Yeah, right. You have to consider the beef. I mean, Drake and Meek, that beef has since been squashed, but things like that as well to consider. You want some good chemistry in this label, so we gotta take that into consideration as well.
You don't want like Cardi B and Nicki Minaj on the same one.
Exactly. So we also are going to be selecting at least on each label one female artist. This was a topic that we discussed, and we feel like there's enough female talent in the rap and hip hop game that we should be able to. All three of us should at least be able to select one female artists to our labels and use them, utilize them to the full extent of their abilities, because there are, more than 3 female artists who deserve to be considered amongst the greats in this genre of music, and wanted to give some respect to that side of the genre as well,
and more every day.
Yeah, and we're not going to be selecting any rap groups, and so we originally were going through this draft like a year or two ago when Vicious Talk was pre the All Things Analysis days, and we were discussing trying to incorporate rap groups into the draft, and it just got really messy, trying to like redraft guys. You pick the Migos and then someone wants to take Offset or something like that, or you pick the Roots and Black Thoughts off the table. So we're just gonna go no groups. You could consider, like, if you take Offset or Black Thought, you could be like, well, maybe we get a collab with the Roots, or we get a collab with Migos. That's kind of a cool idea, but other than that, we're going to be sticking to the individuals. So if you want to pick someone out of a group, feel free to do so as well. Also, dead artists that have passed away, or they're going to be a little bit downgraded for the purpose of this draft, just because they can't produce future records. Because obviously, I'm trying to put together a hypothetical label here, and so the purpose of a label, is to make money as you go forward in the future. And obviously, an artist who has passed away for the most part can't produce more music. You got guys like Mac Miller and Triple Extension, and those guys are putting out an album or two after they passed away. That's just like their log. That's just that's their archives, and so we're not getting a whole lot of new content out of these artists that have passed away. You're open to select them. Obviously, like Biggie and Tupac, those guys are legends in this genre, and they're justifiably in serious consideration for a lot of these roles that we're going to be discussing on our rosters here. But obviously, an artist who has passed away isn't going to be as much of a benefit to these hypothetical labels that we're working on during this draft, just because they obviously can't produce the new music. But those are going to be the main rules of the draft. Now, here are the roles that we're going to be selecting. We're going to pick 8 artists per label. So 24 rappers in total are going to be selected here in our draft. And we're going to be starting with, there's no role of the, obviously I mentioned there's no set role, order of the roles that we have to select, but just, with no particular order.
Essentially, it's a position, right? Like a quarterback, running back, wide receiver. So, you can take a quarterback or a running back in the first round, just like you can take the leader, godfather, or a lyricist, conscious rapper in the first round. It's your choice. But you want to fill out your entire roster, just like you want to get a tight end and a quarterback, So perfect.
All right, so let me read these. Let me read these out for everybody. So the leader and the godfather of our labels, that's going to be, the big honchos, the headliner. And we're going to be looking at, these artists are someone who has experience, some expertise, and they have supreme talent. This person should be the headlining name who can make your label the big bucks and give it the reverence it deserves within the industry of rap and hip hop. And the next guy, a lyricist and a conscious rapper. This person, while, a lot of conscious rappers don't love being labeled as such, these type of artists are essential to the industry today. They write some of the best, most clever lyrics. They tell great stories. They paint vivid pictures, and they oftentimes promote a message within their records. Next guy up, the hype man. This artist is going to bring the energy on every track they're on, every show they play, and always make the most makes the music more fun and exciting that they're on. They're excellent collaborators, capable of featuring on any record really, and making the song more hyped, quote unquote. The Energizer Bunnies that of our make-believe labels here, basically the hype man. Next guy, the melodic artist. This member of your label will provide the best vocals, melodies, and choruses for your group. This person should be able to bring soul and to a record and through his or her voice. Being a good rapper would also be a good plus as well. The bright future artist. This is the artist that other labels are going to salivate at the opportunity to poach from you, just because this person should be so talented that their future may be the brightest of anyone else on your label. They should be early in their careers, but have shown enough talent thus far to cultivate a huge amount of optimism for their futures. The psychedelic artist. This artist will feature a lot of drug references in their lyrics and work best on beats that have a psychedelic vibe. They encourage their listeners to participate in the drugs they rap about just to enhance their music. These artists are obviously a controversial subgenre of the rap community, but this is you have to acknowledge this genre of rap, the psychedelic version. I mean, you got the Mac Millers, the Wiz Khalifas, the Burners, the Kid Cudis. These guys are all going to be serious consideration for this genre. I'm sure I'm leaving off some guys, but we'll get to that.
You better leave them off. You're going to take my picks.
All right, and then the last two, wrapping it up here in our roles here for our hypothetical labels. The boom bap artist. Boom bap originated in New York and was one of the most popular forms of hip hop in the early to mid 1990s. Using street focused rhymes and hard hitting beats built on gritty drums, boom bap music puts a lot of emphasis on the lyricism. Storytelling and strong technical ability are some of the most important aspects of a boom bap rapper. This type of artist is no longer the most popular in the current hip hop community, but it has a dedicated fan base that's as devoted as ever still. And then last guy in our hypothetical labels here, the trap artist. This is my favorite one. This is so fun. The trap artist is rooted in Southern hip hop of the early 1990s and is known for its 808 driven production and aggressive lyrics. Much of trap music's content is centered around life in quote unquote the trap, where they sell and consume drugs, participate in violence, and experience harsh conditions in the inner city communities that they live in. This artist will bring some thug and some spice into your label. Just spice things up. So
I see why it was your favorite, Benny Boy.
It's a fun genre,
It's a real fun genre. One of my personal favorites too.
Yeah. But I think that with these eight roles that we have in our labels here, I think I kind of encompassed the general gist of the guys that we enjoy listening to and we'll cover here in our fantasy draft. Sound good?
Good stuff, man.
All right, we haven't discussed how do we want to do our draft order here. I'm cool going last. I'm cool going. I don't care. Whatever you guys want to do. Who wants to go first? Or what do you
I don't care. It could be random for all I care, man. Whatever you think.
Why don't we do a randomizer? Maybe a little order randomizer.
Yeah. Pull it up real quick.
Let's do it, Benny. I'm freaking out right now. My heart's bumping, man. If I get that first pick, I'm still in my head between who I got to go with and which category I want to lock down, Because there's a certain guy you're almost tempted to take your headliner first because it's the headlining category. But I feel like there are a few headliners I'd be okay with at the same time. Yeah. And there are some other niche categories where I really want that one person. Yep. So it's difficult to weigh it.
Well said.
All right. We got a draft order here.
All right, works.
Fresh off the press, random draft order. It's gonna be 1 is gonna be Austin, 2 is Connor, 2 is Connor, 3 is Ben. So, dude, going hard. Lead us off hard. Get something going here, Austin. And remember, as we discuss this, our favorite genres and our favorite artists, we're able to discuss songs and albums that we really particularly enjoy from these guys, and we could always, feature some audio clips of guys that we really enjoy listening to as well. So we could get creative with those types of things too. So,
all right, to kick it off.
All right, with the first pick of the Vicious Talk hip hop rap artist fantasy style draft, Oscar McCusker selects.
We're going with a lyricist off the bat. My label's lyricist will be Eminem.
I can swallow a bottle of alcohol in a feel like
that is the number one.
Better hit the deck like the card dealer. My whole squad.
Storytelling. Dude, ever since Marshall Mathers LP, Slim Shady LP, I have trouble thinking of somebody else that combines so much creativity, so much emotion, and the poetic devices that he uses. It really kind of just stays with you, long after you listen to it. So that's what I thought of as far as that lyricism, that storytelling ability. A lot of guys were considered for this position, as you can imagine. I'm taking it first off the bat, so it shows how important it is. Yeah. I look forward to seeing what you guys do with the position, though.
Dude, I love that pick. I think Eminem is the number one lyricist to, ever get on a mic for hip-hop and rap. And what's funny is we're obviously, we hinted at this before we even started recording. Hip-hop and rap is a heavily, there's no ignoring it. It's a heavily influenced genre by the Black community. And Eminem was the first pick here, and he's a white dude. He's the number one white. He's got to be the number one white rapper ever.
That should be solidified.
I mean, you could argue he's the number one rapper ever. So
right,
certainly, yeah.
That's the thing.
So
I'm curious to know, Austin, because Eminem could certainly be also your headliner. What made you choose the specific category lyricism as opposed to being your headliner of Godfather?
So that's the thing. I had to weigh what I consider the demand for not only the category, but for him as an artist. Mm-hmm. And he was going to be on somebody's team today.
Yeah.
I just personally, if I got first overall, Connor mentioned there are a lot of options for greatest of all time. I know that sounds kind of funny to say, but, Eminem's heavily considered to be one of the greatest of all time, but there aren't that many that can overlap in two categories. And he does that very, very healthily.
Yeah. If I had an opinion on that too, is Eminem's not the number one headliner, not the number one Godfather, but he is the number one lyricist, in my opinion.
Okay.
I would say, I think that there are better people to possibly lead your label and possibly, shelter in the younger eras and, be the headliner guy. But Eminem is the number one lyricist in my book. I mean, for me, it's like, really, you don't have to look past the songs of like Rap God and one of my favorite underrated Eminem records is No Love with Lil Wayne.
Oh yeah,
dude, that record is amazing. The way he that verse when he goes like he references the Kanye. When Kanye went up on the stage in the Grammys, was like I don't want to take away from Taylor Swift, but but Beyonce had the best music video. Like he how he mixed that into the verse. He's like this is the best the best verse of all time, but. Dude, those lyrics, it's like, dude, it's so creative and so wordy, and I mean, and then you go back. I'm not even mentioning the Marshall Mathers song, Stan, the storytelling that goes into that stuff. Like, It's incredible, the stuff that he did, and the Slim Shady LP, those things, those albums were revolutionary and really just influenced the quirkiness of the lyricism of an artist in this genre. In my opinion, a lot of people today wouldn't be the same artists they are today without Eminem's, laying that foundation, working with Dr. Dre back in the day.
That's true, man.
In the influence in battle rap too, and just the lyrics he can bring out off the top of his dome, and just to hear him freestyle, no one can come up with the lines like he can.
Dude.
Nobody.
You're talking, dude. He's he is one of the best. If we're putting together a hypothetical label, he's also one of the best actors in the rap community. One of them. I mean, 8 Mile's got to be one of, if not the best rap like specific movies
film
of all time. Because I mean, you got Dr. Dre, Snoop, Ice Cube. Those guys are all rappers who have been involved in movies and stuff. But 8 Mile was a different animal in itself. I'm sure that if any rapper today would say I wanted to be, or like if they were jealous of someone else's work in this, in the film or the movie industry, I would say all of them would say 8 Mile, because all of them want that film. That one where they were like the journey of their come up, the story of how they went from nothing to something, and the battle rapping, the style that he puts in there. It's like, it's incredible. So,
dude, I bet if you asked other rappers that have kind of developed an acting career, I mean, I just think of Ludacris for modern day rapper actor off the bat. I mean, there's another Fast and Furious coming out. It just got delayed again. I don't know, but he stays acting. Like, when was his last album?
Right.
But he'd probably say that Eminem was his part of his motivation to get out, diversify that portfolio.
And for me too, Eminem kind of redeemed himself recently on that. The music could be buried by. I mean, I think he really took a dip. He really took a dip in that. What was that? What was that last album?
Relapse 2, people didn't love.
No, Relapse 2 was not. But there were a couple.
I like Kamikaze.
I thought Kamikaze was all right. The one before that too was not. I did not like. One with the had like a rose on there, and it had. I did not like that album. Can't remember what it was called.
Yeah, but then he came back with Marshall Mathers LP2, took home the Grammy, and things were right again. And then he made a political rap about Donald Trump and everything, having a good time.
Yeah. And yeah, I really enjoyed his most recent album too. I thought that was a good, a little bit of a rebirth for him with the music to be buried by. I just don't. I miss the Slim Shady, the Slim Shady style with the quirkiness and the high pitched stuff. Yeah. And nowadays he's just so aggressive and so hard. But that's who he is now, and the lyrics don't change, dude. The guy is always going to be a godfather when it comes to lyricism. The guy's ability to write and his ability to just get really creative with the words he spits. It's worthy of the number one pick overall as the lyricist. So kudos to you, Austin. I like the pick.
Thank you, brother.
Connor, you ready for your second spot?
Well,
Connor. The second
Eminem was certainly a target of mine.
Top rapper.
With the number 2 pick, I think I'm going to follow suit with Austin and try to pick more of a niche category where I have a real target player. Kind of like taking Travis Kelce, at the back end of the first round. I'm going to go with Kid Cudi as my psychedelic artist. I don't think...
That's my number 1 psychedelic.
That's a great pick.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone epitomizes a category of rap much more than Kid Cudi and psychedelics. You think back to like your high school days and Day and Night, and the lonely stoner freeing his mind at night. All of us imagining what smoking weed was like, laying in bed thinking about that at 13 years old. And then, as we got older, you're listening to like Intergalactic You and Me, where he's talking about pop just one more stem, baby. And he's like, all right, I think I know what he's talking about, little mushrooms right there. And I don't think I've ever heard another rapper work the entire actual technical scientific name of LSD into a song when he just drops lysergic acid diethylamide. This guy is truly a psychedelic artist. And through all of his albums, except for when he took that weird pause and stopped smoking weed and put some bad music out, I mean, he really is a psychedelic artist.
It was, and part of that, I feel like, part of this subgenre of psychedelic music is also, the mental side of it, because he really touches the hearts of a lot of people who struggle with mental illness and mental struggles, and he really changed the lives for a lot of those people. Like, really just discussed some topics that were just not really, they were really taboo in this specifically this genre of rap and hip hop. Like, it's not cool to be vulnerable. It's not cool to be, depressed, and it's not cool to be, just feeling down on yourself. And Kid Cudi, painted a picture, especially on that Man on the Moon album that you're talking about, just really painted a picture for a lot of listeners. And I really like that pick. I think if there was any artist that really depicted and encompassed a subgenre,
lived his category, right?
it's Cudi. It's Cudi.
He's a first round artist. Lars, great pick.
Okay. All right. Next up,
pressure's on Benny.
Pick. I'm gonna be, dude. I can't let this guy drop any further. I'm going with the Godfather. I'm going to start with the headliner. I'm going with Jay-Z. I want Sean Carter on the head of my list, because not only is he, in my opinion, the greatest rapper of all time, he is also the greatest businessman in this genre. He's made the most money alongside P. Diddy. Obviously, I'm pretty sure those two are the most wealthy rappers, the most wealthy hip hop artists of all time.
And Dr. Dre too.
Jay-Z. Dr. Dre too, but
the Dre beat sale to Apple was
with the combination, the ability for Jay-Z to get on any record and really just change it from a mediocre record to a radio hit. That's in his bag as well. The ability to change up the lyrics and put in lyrics that are like, he is the ultimate boom bap artist, basically, dating back to, you know, all of his old albums, The Blueprint, Reasonable Doubt, like those, the Black Album. Dude, Jay-Z's catalog of music is unbeatable. You know, in my opinion, he has the greatest catalog of any artist in this hip hop community. And he also is, like I said, the greatest businessman. He's
a businessman.
He owns a portion. He is a businessman. You're right. Yep. His ability to just touch at so many different aspects of a business and so many aspects of what we're looking for in a hypothetical label. He changes your outlook, and he changes, like, if like we're going to be talking about up and comers and like an artist later. We'll be drafting artists who we think have bright futures. Jay-Z's the kind of guy that will take them under their wing and turn them from, you know, the guys coming out of these slum communities or inner city community and change him into a star, make him a star, and show him what it takes to be the best. You know,
you think like J. Cole signing to Rock Nation or guys like that, exactly. Just incredible.
So
and he just sold Tidal this week for $300 million to Square, and now he's on the board of directors at Square and is like best buds with Jack Dorsey, having yacht parties. I mean, you're talking about somebody who is going to make a ton of bucks for your company. His entire catalog is the reason why Tidal was so successful, because he made it just an app that was purely for the artists, and he's innovating and changing the game. Absolutely, this is an incredible pick, Ben.
Yeah, I mean, I loved your guys' picks in terms of the value you got out of an Eminem as a lyricist and Kid Cudi as a psychedelic. But if you're going to go pure artists like greatest of all time, I can't let Jay-Z slide past third, because Jay-Z in the third spot, dude, he's going to set my whole label up for success. And so 100%. I had to go with him there.
And you get to double tap now because we're going snake style, right?
Yes. So this was something that I was not anticipating having to go back to back. And I'm trying to think of the best way to combine Jay-Z with something that, you know, something special. And oh man, this is a tough one for me. I'm gonna have to go Nas as my boom bap artist. Queens broke. Mac 10s, you can smell a PCP. I'm gonna go Nas and I think Nas, alongside Biggie Smalls, invented boom, or really made boom bap what it is. And I think those two guys, we talked about which artists depict a subgenre more so than any other. I think Nas depicts boom bap, like I said, alongside Biggie Smalls, better than any guy we're going to be discussing, in my opinion. His ability to just really put together lyrics and songs that, you know, show what it's like to be in the streets of New York, and you know how he rapped about from the point of view of a pistol, and how he just his creativity on the records that he put together throughout his career. Nas is always a guy that gets extreme respect in the rap and hip hop community. Someone who is also putting out good music still. I really enjoyed his most recent album. The name escapes me. King. It was what was his King's Disease? He released it in 2020. I thought it was pretty good. And then he has the new single on the in the Judas and the Black Messiah movie, EPMD. Like, the song was not bad as well. So I mean, a guy who can still put together good records at this point in his career, but the catalog is really what you get Nas for, and the respect that he has coming up through New York and really just being the premier boom bap guy. I really think that he really depicts this subgenre of hip hop.
And talk about getting bang for your buck, Benny. I mean, that's another artist who could have overlapped into 2-3 other
lyricist, headliner, absolutely.
I mean, like, you're getting your money's worth and then some, starting your label off with the two guys that you just did. Applause for you, my friend.
And they're both old heads, so you know they can mentor the rest of his crew.
The only thing that I'm hesitant now, though, is I have two New York-based artists, and I'm an LA guy.
You have a sound, that's for sure.
He's gonna grab Biggie somewhere else, and then all of a sudden, hell's gonna break loose.
Though I'm gonna be looking to get creative with this. We're gonna be blending regions. We're gonna be blending styles, and so I think like part of this also is like the creativity. Like, how can we get this guy on a Jay-Z song or a Nas song? Like, we're talking about that too down the road. So
there you go.
I think we set a good foundation there for Ben's hypothetical label there. But
hell yeah.
All right, second round, Austin. Oh no, who's Connor's up?
I'm back at it.
You got your second pick, 5th overall. Who are you going with?
So I am going to take a second lyricist now. Austin, first off the board with Eminem. I'm going to take Kendrick Lamar.
Hello, well, Kendrick here, and I'm too much for these niggas.
I would say Good Kid, Mad City might be my favorite album of all time. If you want to talk about an album that truly tells a story from beginning to end. I mean, when Mad City comes on and he goes, brace yourself, I'm taking you on a trip down memory lane. The story is about to drop. That beat is coming. And I'm just getting hyped up and jacked up. I mean, this guy can paint a vivid picture. His technical skills are unbelievable. Somebody who has the ability to possibly one day pass Eminem as a lyricist as he continues to build out his catalog. I think he's only 33 years old. And what's crazy is Good Kid, Mad City didn't win a Grammy for Best Album, but his following one did, To Pimp a Butterfly. And after that, he won a Pulitzer Prize for Damn. If you want to talk about somebody who is a storyteller, this man won a goddamn Pulitzer Prize. So give me Kendrick Lamar all day. I have his future and I have his past. I am amped to get him on my team as a lyricist.
Professor Lamar.
I think with Kendrick, you talked about his future though. What's his ambitions in terms of putting out more music? Is he motivated to put more music out? I don't know. We've been waiting for this next album after Damn since 2016. It's been almost 5 years now. So I love the pick. Kendrick Lamar is one of the most talented rappers to ever get on a mic, but it's depressing that he hasn't put more music out. And maybe it's quality over quantity with this guy. Maybe when his career is all said and done, he will be in the same breath as the greatest of all time. But for me, Kendrick Lamar, the peak is the peak that he's already experienced in his rap career is some of the highest that anybody's ever reached. I mean, he puts out, if he were to put out anything today, it would still be, commercial. You could tell me
he has 13 Grammys. I mean, this guy's incredible.
Everybody's gonna listen to his music, anything he puts out. But the thing is, I think he's very picky about what he puts out. I think he's very picky about what he gets on in terms of music. I think I know I've watched a reasonable amount of his documentaries. I saw one with Rick Rubin where he was talking about how picky he is with the beats that he chooses, and that he's very, he has a very strong inclination to get on like jazzy type beats, jazz influenced type beats, and that's one of my favorite. Those are some of my favorite type beats, anyways. But for me, I just think
he's really exploring the history and culture that jazz brought out into hip hop eventually.
He's such a hip hop historian. He's such a perfectionist that I think that sometimes it hamstrings him in terms of maybe he should put something out that he doesn't, or I feel like he sometimes limits his ceiling because he is such a perfectionist.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, understandable. I think lately he's been working a bit on his own label. I think he's trying to get that launched, and so I think that's taking a lot of time and energy. And he hasn't been quite as focused on the music. Is he going to call it TD? I think it's going to be something different, actually. Okay. I was doing a little research about it today, but Kendrick still a really bright future, and I mean the amount of hits this guy has is just unbelievable.
Yeah,
Plus,
I feel like
he fits in with my team because I have Kid Cudi, and they've worked together before previously on albums, and they have a few songs together. So I like having that synergy where I can have Cudi hop on and do a little melodic. Excuse me there. Kid Cudi can do the hook on a song and get melodic, and then you have Kendrick coming in with just like the hard-hitting rap and just the technicality he can bring about in a song. So I'm really excited about that combo.
You're building a sound too, man. I don't know, it's just on purpose or not, your sound is going to be top tier.
Honestly, Eminem was going to be one of my picks, Jay-Z too. So like we thought we're gonna have to go a little bit off the cuff here, but I'm glad to lock down those two categories.
certainly. I love Kendrick. I think, what are your guys' thoughts on some of that new stuff that he put out with, like, when he was on the 2 Chainz song, or he was on what song was that, where he has the high pitched voice? He's with Lil Wayne on Mona Lisa, and he was on what was it recently? He got that really high pitched voice. He never did that on one of his albums before, and he's like doing like almost like a falsetto rap, and it was kind of weird at first, but that goes hard sometimes. I liked it.
Yeah, I mean, other rappers have started to bite that too. We heard Future on a couple of songs get really high pitched with the voice. It's these types of rappers who aren't afraid to innovate, that can continue to change the game and leave a lasting mark in history because they're establishing new styles themselves. So I love it. I want him to continue experimenting with the funky beats, bringing in the jazz, the high pitched voice, the range. That's what really is fun for me with him. And then he also does the really low dubbed voice too in the background, and so he just gets this range of tones from his own words and abilities.
People crave that new sound, like you were saying, dude. You're gonna get that. I mean, everything from Kid Cudi's hums, to that high-pitched Kendrick. I think another great example of it is like what 3-6 and A$AP Rocky did with the deep voice, like
Oh, just
like
on that dresser, Joanna Ketcher.
People remember that. That already separates you. That one sound separates you and keeps you relevant. It's got longevity. Really cool.
I like it, Connor. All right, let's go into the next one. Connor, Austin, you're up. Austin, the last pick for the second round. You're gonna go back to back, so 6 and 7 overall. You've got Eminem as your lyricist so far, so he's your next guy on your label.
All right, so having to pivot here a little bit as well, I am going to select my headliner, and I'm gonna do he really shouldn't be controversial, but I think for this particular draft that we're doing, it will be, just because posthumous albums, they don't come out as often as you want them to. But Tupac is going to be my headliner. And
go ahead. This is a great pick, but go ahead.
Ben's already jacking in there. I gotta talk about Tupac.
I know we're gonna
I got excited.
We're gonna say a lot of the same stuff because we both have that passion for Tupac. There aren't that many artists that can be considered one of the greatest of all time, rapping about the struggle, rapping about the party scene, just like Biggie did. But unlike Biggie and other artists, he raps about his mother, his family, and having to support. And he really embodies hip hop, in my opinion.
Another guy in movies too. He's in famous hip hop movies.
Another guy in movies, dude.
Probably the greatest actor. I mentioned Eminem as the potentially greatest actor in hip hop. I think legit Tupac is. I mean, Ice Cube could be in consideration. Probably made the most money in terms of money made from acting. But
Ludacris, Ludacris.
Oh, true.
Yeah, we don't have to. Don't go
Fast and Furious, dude. I'm leaving too many people out.
I know what you're saying though.
But dude, I think just the way that he, the way he acted was just poetic, and it really just in symbiosis with the way that he rapped and the way that he got on records, and just changed hip hop forever. And Tupac's still alive, so you're good there. He's not. There
you go, baby.
You can get the hologram out there. He can still perform. Coachella, you never know.
There's the theories that he's like in Costa Rica, just sipping on a Mai Tai on the beach
with Elvis.
Cooling with Elvis, yeah, exactly. Dude, but the thing is, like, the tracks that he put out, he never has to put out another album again to be considered, how he is currently being considered. And I think you guys understand that. Hopefully, Benny, you'll give me a pass for picking a deceased artist here.
Yeah, you're good.
And an LA artist, there you go, West Coast.
Yeah, there you go. So, and to be honest, I could kind of picture him and Eminem slaying tracks together.
I mean, we've seen it already done with the way that producing has just become so high tech and so like modern, and the way that they could bite something from a Tupac song and put it on an Eminem song. Like, you could do that. That could be totally something.
That's true. You could sample.
House. And so, you know what? For the purpose of this too, none of us, me and Connor, none of our artists can study Tupac. So like, none of our guys can because Tupac is somebody that gets studied. Like, the words are studied, and the way he flows on songs. Like, people really. Modern artists today still go back and reference Tupac as their biggest inspiration. Like
Sure,
talk
man.
about like one guy that is young and still kind of new and blossoming in his hip hop and his rap career is D Smoke. He won that Netflix show Rhythm and Flow, and he put out an album last year called Black Thoughts and Black Habits, and he I was just listening to him recently talk about how Tupac is like his biggest inspiration, and he praised his mom and just the way that he was raised and the way he was as a human, and really just made it cool to be respectful and also hard and gritty. And he always towed that perfect balance of, you know, just being a great human and a great person, but also, you know, don't fuck with me, man. That kind of attitude. So
Exactly.
I like it. Austin, you're back to back though, so you're gonna go Tupac as your headliner.
Keep it rolling here.
Keep it rolling here. Do you have an idea who you want to go with next?
All right, I'll be checking two boxes here, Benny boy. So I'll be going for my well, I don't know if it's gonna be my only female artist, but I'm grabbing a female artist to rep the label hard, rep it well as my melodic artist. It's gonna be Beyonce.
I thought that was the best pick before we drafted. I thought that was the best vocal pick. The melodic artist.
Take Me Back, anything, Destiny's Child. I mean, obviously, we used to listen to her stuff, even in Milady, you know, Halo, we were bumping, but Take the Game, Survivor,
Lemonade.
jumping, dude. I mean,
The Super Bowl performance she did, incredible. Stole the stage.
She got
Talk
on
about a
444
power
too
couple.
with Jay-Z. She got on 444 too.
exactly,
She
bro.
gets
They
on
put
rap
each other
albums.
on. They put each other on. She's been famous in hip hop. I mean, the pop game, obviously R&B. She's just a success. So I'm happy to have her.
I should have probably picked Beyonce 4th overall as my melodic artist. I could have gone Jay-Z, Beyonce back to back. Probably the biggest blunder so far.
You could have gotten Jay-Z and Beyonce, bro. Whoa.
Those were goals,
Now-
man.
that one.
Family split.
Definite
Family
goals.
split. So we're causing.
Ben's
trouble
rooting for
here.
the divorce.
That's hilarious, dude.
Jay-Z's gonna be
Great
knocking at your door like, bro, you didn't pick my wife. Kanye's gonna come up on stage. Ben, Beyonce had one of the best music videos of all time.
Oh man, dude, way to think outside the box with that one, dude. I love it. I think
Thanks,
that was
sir.
a great selection. Because I mean, really, out of anybody that's going to be selected, I could already tell you before we even finish the draft. We're only 7 picks in. Beyonce has the best voice out of anybody we're going to be talking about.
Yeah.
So kudos to you.
Thanks, sir.
All right, Connor, you're up 8th overall. We're in our 3rd round of our draft here now. You've got Kid Cudi as your psychedelic artist, Kendrick Lamar as your lyricist. Who are you going with for your 3rd member of your hypothetical rap label?
So I'm pretty amped that this guy fell to me. I'm going to be taking as my melodic artist Drake. You know, you want to talk about...
Put on my picks.
So obviously you want to talk about a guy whose voice gets the panties wet. It is Mr. Drake, So Far Gone. You know, everything you could want. Big Papa, you know, Drake, you know, everything. This guy is just incredible. He's the 2nd best selling individual artist in terms of rap all time. Over, I think, you know, 200 million albums sold. This guy is just so multi-talented. And you think of all the music he's put out, Thank Me Later, Views, God's Plan, Take Care. I mean, all of them very sing-songy. If Drake's on a chorus, it's going to be a fire song. And, you know, he can just take over an entire season with an album.
You're fresh off Scary Hours too. The guy just put out 3 songs that are, you know, already selling millions of, like he's already got like hundreds of thousands of listens on these 3 songs that he just put out. Like literally, it's considered a single on the Billboard 100, 200 or whatever list, and so it doesn't even get eligible for that. But the dude, he puts out a song and it's immediately snatched up as a big commercial hit, a radio hit. The guy, anything he touches turns to gold, turns to platinum, really.
Even just like off the side of the desk stuff, like the stuff he put out that was like raps versus Meek Mill were just like top of the charts, and it was just he put together like a week. I mean, he just sells out so quickly, and he's somebody I've seen in concert. Fantastic show. He can just put it on. He was flying above the stage. He had like cables attached. When he came out, he lifted his shirt up. He's not really cut, and every woman in the place was screaming. Like, people love Drake. His voice is amazing. If there's a melody, if there's a chorus, I want Drake on it.
I love that pick, dude. I want a Drake so bad.
Bro, his name carries so much weight that it's gonna put your label on, just like that.
I listened to the playlist on Apple Music, the top hip hop and rap, and like the first 3 songs were just the 3 songs Drake just put out. Anytime he drops, he's gonna be in the top 10 charts, no matter what.
He breaks algorithms. They just put him at the top. Put him right at the top.
He's a guy that could definitely be my headliner as well.
Yeah.
But for my neck, oh wait, I don't get to go twice in a row. Damn,
hey,
both of you get to go twice in a row at points. I wanted to take my next one too, because I'm used to seeing you guys get to both go twice in a row. Damn it. I almost gave away my pick. Thank God.
You guys have left me so many options for this lyricist category that I'm having the hardest time, narrate. I have like 5 people that I'm just so torn between. And
thinking, you've already chosen Nas. You've already
right.
You got a great.
Hey, you blew it. That should have been your lyricist.
Yeah. Oh man, dude, I think Nas depicts 100% boom bap.
He does.
Lyricism is ingrained in that genre. So that's
I'm so jealous that you guys both get to go twice in a row in this draft. It's kind of like in Catan when you're picking your places, your settlements, because you can have them play right off of each other. I don't know who's going to get taken in between my picks.
Yep.
The second pick though does get tough because you roll right into it, and you gotta pair them together. And
that's true,
dude.
Especially if I just took one of your guys.
Yeah, dude. I gotta go with that theme of an artist really depicting a genre, and I think that you look at trap music, and I think there's one guy here, and I'm thinking about that really just depicts the trap genre, and I gotta go 2 Chainz. Titty Boy.
Oh, that was gonna be my
all right. That's a great pick. It's a great
2
pick.
Chainz. As my trap artist, I mean, for Christ's sake, the guy had an album called "Pretty Girls Love Trap Music."
Yeah,
I mean,
he built a pink trap house.
The guy built a career selling weed before he even became a rap artist. I mean, he really depicts this genre very well. I mean, he was Lil Wayne's drug dealer. That's how he got his name. He was known as Titty Boy, the drug dealer, basically, chilling with Lil Wayne and the Young Money crew. And the guy, I mean, what is he, like 40-something years old now, and he's still putting out some of the best records. I mean, I love that. His last album, the one with the...
he had Rapper Go to the League, which was fantastic.
I love Rap and Go to the League. That's what I'm thinking about. But the one that he most recently put out was just okay, I thought. It had no TV on it. It had...
Anytime you can get LeBron like filming himself on Instagram to your album, just like, and LeBron never knows the words too. He's always like and pretending like he does because he's so busy. But it's always 2 Chainz. They're always dapping each other up after games. Like I really wanted that because I wanted LeBron as part of my label too. Yeah. So I'm very jealous of this pick.
So I got 2 Chainz as my trap artist. And Austin, have you heard that song "Can't Go for That" by 2 Chainz on his newest album?
He sings a little bit.
Yeah, dude, the Lil Duval feature on that is hilarious. I can't go for that.
Yeah,
that song is hilarious. I felt like that song was right up your alley when I listened to it. I was like, that's an Austin song right there.
Such a jam, bro. Throw that on. Easy to cruise to. It's great. You're spot on.
Dude, 2 Chainz. I mean, really, it goes back to the Trapavelli days. It goes back to all the way before. I mean, when he was rapping with Lil Wayne, when he was first on his come up. I mean, I think 2 Chainz is a guy that just gets underrated in a lot of the pantheon of greatest rappers, and I think that he gets overshadowed by some of the people that he's involved himself with, the Weezys, the
Drakes,
the Birdmans, like the Drakes, exactly. Like the
people on my team.
Overshadowed some of that, So 2 Chainz is not the number 1 guy, but he's solidly. I mean, I don't think I could have picked a better trap artist, so I like taking him as my guy there. Dude, I'm gonna go with a lyricist, and for my next pick, 10th overall here. We're going to start off what round is this? The 4th round now. So I've got Jay-Z, Nas, and now 2 Chainz. I got to go personal favorite here. And, I don't know that this is going to be the most quality pick in terms of trying to build together the most successful album, but I don't think it's a wrong pick. Give me J. Cole as my lyricist.
That was mine.
Oh my god, dude!
That was my backup to kind of.
Hold on, that's like one of the best lyricists right there, man.
So I think J. Cole is an amazing rapper. Obviously, I mean, and I personally just consider him one of my top favorite 3 rappers probably of all time. And so I think that maybe he's not considered maybe. If you look at like hip hop historians, he usually gets kind of nudged outside the top 10 of all time. But usually probably considered maybe top 20. But I just think there's so many great lyricists that I could have gone with here. Like I really love Black Thought. I love Andre 3000. I love, dude, there's so many guys that I really consider here. Big Sean, they're all great lyricists. I mean, Nas, who you guys mentioned, who I ended up going with the boom bap. I think there are a lot of amazing lyricists in this genre, but I just think J. Cole is my personal favorite. I love anything he puts out. I literally like if you had to tell me an artist tomorrow is going to put out a new song or a new album, I think J. Cole might be the number 1 guy or one of my number 1 guys that I would be most excited for.
You jump right on it, yeah.
So, I mean, really, I think that in terms of albums, you want to talk about some of your favorite albums of all time. I think Forest Hills Drive is probably my top 3, at least top 5 favorite albums.
Everybody, that drop. First things first, rest in peace, Uncle Phil. Like everybody, and then the trumpets hit, and you're just like, oh, yeah, incredible.
So
talk about mixtape game too, Benny. Dat Piff strong for J. Cole. Friday Night Lights, pick one.
And you have Jay-Z. Yeah. Perfect combo. Beautiful.
Dude, yeah. And they don't all have to be collabing on every single album either. I think you could build some successful, just a collection of albums from those artists.
Yeah. You think about his songs like Power Trip, and he's just telling a beautiful story. Just like we've all felt that feeling laying in bed and just thinking about a girl, like you just stuck or like Wet Dreams, losing your virginity. I mean, we all felt like those jitters in high school. Like he captures those feelings and those essence to the point where you're listening to the song and you're like, holy shit, I have goosebumps because I know exactly what he's talking about.
Right.
And I think that KOD, his album KOD gets a little underrated too. People like to badmouth that one. A solid album. I really like a good amount of records on that. Really like Kevin's Heart, where he talks about cheating on his girl, being tempted by other women. Like really raps from the point of view of somebody else who, I already got Nas who on my label who's done the same thing. Really his ability to story tell, like you said, telling the story about how he lost his virginity in high school, tells the story about, people in KOD, or he talks about how people have been mooching off him, how, he gave his money to some of his best friends, his family members, and then they come back and they leave and he doesn't hear from them, and they come back later and, and that's what they want. All they want is the money from him, and he really just feels slighted. And those types of stories are things that J. Cole's really made his money on. He really just paints the picture of what his life's about, what he experiences, and really what the rap and hip hop genre experiences. And I think that J. Cole, as a lyricist, is top notch. I don't know that he's number 1 in terms of lyricism in this genre, but he's got to be up there. And so I don't think I could have gone wrong with that pick. But I just think that specific subgenre of lyricism and rap is just. There's just a plethora of guys that just gotta get serious consideration for it. And I think J. Cole is just personally one of my favorite guys.
Well said, man.
Yeah, it's a great selection.
Number 11 overall, Connor. This is your 4th member of your rap label.
All right, big guy.
You got Kid Cudi, Kendrick Lamar, and Drake.
Yeah,
joining the Connor label now.
So I'm going to go with my boom bap here because I think it's a very light category in terms of who's available. And I'm going to go with Notorious B.I.G., Big Papa, Biggie Smalls, somebody who really just embodies the sound of New York and the heavy bass, and then the ability to just have the hard-hitting lyrics and oftentimes extremely graphic lyrics, who shot ya? But then he comes in with the little diddly, it's just like, oh my God, the way he can just flow on top of a heavy beat. I just and the fact that now I have that old head, that mentor in my group that really helps round out my team, because I had Cuddy, Kendrick, and Drake who were definitely veterans in the game, but I didn't have anyone locking it down from the early 80s and 90s, which is what I needed here.
You have some of the best male vocals of anybody now, because Biggie is. I literally just watched a documentary on him yesterday. He is an amazing singer. And that's what you hear a lot in his music, where he picks beats that he's redoing that are like pop beats. You know, he took a number of pop songs and turned them into hip hop songs, and just made it real melodic, dances on the beat. Really just like, he's always in the pocket. Incredible, his ability. You got Drake and you got Biggie now, who are two of the greatest of all time in terms of melodies and choruses, but also Biggie is incredible at staying in the pocket and just really dancing on the songs that he gets on. And I really think that's a great selection. Boom bap, Biggie. Like I said, Biggie and Nas are my two boom bap guys. I had to get one of them.
That was my feeling as well. That's why I was really scared when I almost said it out loud a turn too early, because I was like, oh no, Ben might just nab it and then just purposely take my pick.
He might have. That's a steal, Lars. He could have transcended into a couple different categories. You could have taken him 2 rounds ago.
He could have easily been a headliner. Yeah.
Good stuff.
And really, so how I mentioned how some of the deceased artists should be downgraded a little bit for the purpose of our exercise here, but Tupac and Biggie, rightfully so, should
be there.
The two first. If anything, if there are any more deceased artists that get selected in our exercise here, Biggie and Tupac, rightfully so, should have been the first two to go off the board, because they are still 20 plus years after their deaths impacting
extremely relevant
artists today. So,
another guy with a movie, I always like to have that in terms of my label, because the movie, the copyrights, the money that's coming in from that, and people are gonna keep watching that because it's part of history now. When you have it in a movie, that's kind of be forever. Tells the story of his life.
I like it, Connor. So you're going with your first 4 guys: Cuddy, Kendrick, Drake, and Biggie. What a 4, dude! What a 4. Everybody on our list is just really.
These teams are fantastic. I would love to see like a squad rap battle between all 3 of them.
This exercise is getting me salivating for the potential of what if we were to get these guys really like in a room together and working and collaborating.
Imagine like a Bonnaroo or Coachella, but it was just like these rappers. They'd be so hype.
Right. Austin.
Yes, sir.
It's your next pick. Your 12th overall, 4th member of your label. To wrap it, to summarize, you want Eminem, Tupac, Beyonce as your first 3 off the board. You got your lyricist, your headliner, and your melodic artists accounted for. Who are you going with the 12th overall pick?
Figured I would stick. Kind of been going with old heads so far. Obviously, Beyonce, Tupac, Eminem, they've been laid their foundation, right? Like I'll keep that vibe going right now. I'm gonna go with my hype man, and I'm gonna go with Lil Jon.
Oh yeah!
So I was between a couple people, but as far as just
look out for what,
dude, hype, just like chaos, right? At certain moments,
insanity,
aggression, passion. I mean, he produced Get Low by the Yin Yang Twins, Goodies, Cyclone, Freak-a-Leak. Yeah,
Freak-a-Leak.
Just on production, right there, he can be one of the greatest hype men of all time. He's screaming in some of those songs. He's got the chorus or the hook, but then he's got, Connor said, Turn Down for What, Snap Your Fingers. I just think he's got potentially the most recognizable ad-lib, maybe of all time, not to mention of hip-hop, but he's just integral into the creation of the hype man and of the subgenre crunk, which is just hype. It's great.
Dude, what a great selection, because I think we've already been talking about the themes of artists who really depict subgenres. I think the first person that I consider as the hype man, is Lil Jon. He invented this subgenre. He invented it. You're so right. I was afraid of picking him just because he hasn't been as relevant in modern hip hop.
Yep.
You know, he's probably winding down in terms of his music production, in terms of as a rapper. But you know, the catalog, and like I said, he invented this subgenre of hype. And you're so right with the snap your fingers, all the production value he's got. It's incredible. I love the pick. Lil Jon is the ultimate.
Really fun pick.
Yeah.
In up until the pandemic, he was still going around DJing. Like, you could have seen him at Mohegan Sun at a Wet and Wild pool party, and it was Lil Jon just with like, you know, steam flying up and just girls, and he's just on the turntables going, okay, yeah, what? You know, like, who doesn't want to drink on a Sunday and out by a pool with Lil Jon slamming in the background?
That sounds like a blast.
Dude, what a pick. All right, Connor. Oh, no, Austin, sorry.
You got double up.
I'm doubling up right now.
We're halfway through the draft. Do we want to do a quick rundown of what we have so far?
Well said. All right, let's do a quick rundown. All right, we're halfway through, 12 selections so far. In order, the draft order again was Austin, Connor, and Ben. Austin went with Eminem. Next was Kid Cudi, then Jay-Z, then Nas, then Kendrick Lamar, then Tupac, Beyonce, Drake, 2 Chainz, J. Cole, Biggie Smalls, and Lil Jon. Dude, what a 12 first artist selected.
Wow.
I love it. This is turning into a really fun project. I think that
Big 12.
It's a big 12, dude. That's a big 12. All right, let's start taking home the second half of this draft selection. Austin, sorry.
You really want me to go, man? I mean, I'll take it.
Can I pick? So I'm gonna,
Stop, Connor. No.
Can I live?
That was great.
I'm gonna mute Austin's mic.
Let me just try to get this out fast, all right? Then you can move on without me. No, I'm gonna do my bright future artist now. I gotta lighten it up. I gotta make sure my label can be current just as much as it, takes respect from tracks that my artists have put out in the past. And one of the artists that I think can do that most successfully is Lil Baby.
You can get the biggest Chanel like in the store if you
Lil
want it. I gave him the drill, they set it up, I got him on it. I bought him a
Potentially
bag, I had to watch, so I
the
took
fastest
time.
up and comer I've seen as far as like when I really started paying attention to music. I mean, obviously we grew up with Lil Wayne dropping all the Carters. We grew up watching Drake skyrocket, absolutely skyrocket. But Lil Baby is 24 and
super young.
I mean,
so accepted into the pantheon.
So accepted, dude. Yeah. He's already worked with Drake. He's already worked with Gucci Mane.
Yes, indeed.
And Gunna. These artists that you wait your whole lifetime to collaborate with, frankly. And he's doing it.
But they want to get on with him because he is that
exactly.
hot. They're the ones asking to get on with Lil Baby. It's crazy.
That's exactly right. He's from the culture of Atlanta. I love those Atlanta artists put each other on. Not a lot of culture. I mean, not cultures, but just the demographic that you see of certain areas are artists that put each other on. And Atlanta's always been that city that does that very, very well. And he comes out with, whoa, Some to Prove, Yes Indeed, Drip Too Hard. I mean, all these songs will be around for a long time, Yeah.
I think Drip Too Hard came out in like 2017, and like my 10-year-old cousin at the time was singing, and I hadn't even heard it. I was like, "What is that?" Because like whatever he's singing goes hard right now. Threw it on, Lil Baby, and then ever since I heard his name, he's just been top of the charts. He always wore those like really weird skinny pants, and they had the Balenciaga socks on, the sock shoes, and that's like imprinted in my brain. That's Lil Baby.
That is Lil Baby.
Dude, one thing I gotta say about Lil Baby though, a terrible basketball player. He was on the Bleacher Report.
That was rough.
Yeah. He ruined 2 Chainz's chance.
Oh, awful.
Did you see that free throw he took? Oh my lord!
God. Did you see him? Did you see Quavo just block the shit out of that 3-point step back shot he took?
I felt so bad for 2 Chainz. 2 Chainz played in college. Like, he was a really good player. He was saddled with Lil Baby. What was surprising was like Jack Harlow's not bad too at basketball.
Dude, Quavo's incredible.
Quavo's
very athletic, dude. Very athletic.
Quavo, I feel like he like focused on it, could like be decent,
Yeah.
I've seen videos of him playing football too. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, he's a very good quarterback. He played in that celebrity flag football game.
That's
with,
right.
Durant and he had a lot of athletes there with him, and he played quarterback. I mean,
how fun would that be?
Right?
Playing just suiting up with those guys, get a quick casual flag football game.
Right. That'd be cool.
I had a line in my notes. Ben and Austin must be saying "wah wah wah" since I drafted Lil Baby, but obviously, now I'm the one. I just wanted to say that because I was all excited to take.
You can have him. No, you earned him. Now you can have him.
Oh, that's awesome! I love that. That's so funny. All right,
now Connor, go ahead, Ben. Give it to him.
Connor, 14th pick overall. Your 5th member of your hypothetical rap label. Who are you going with?
I think it's about time that I take my headliner. Waited till my 5th pick overall, and I'm going to take Kanye West.
Let's get lost tonight. You could be
so somebody lately who's been a little all over the place. Yes, we know this, but if you think about the catalog going all the way back to College Dropout, and then through the progression, graduation, the different types of music he's put out with 808s and Heartbreak, and then all the way with My Dark Twisted Fantasy, Yeezus, and The Life of Pablo. These are all top of the chart, #1 albums, and they're all extremely innovative. At the time, people sometimes were disgusted by it. Yeezus, people hated it originally, and then 5-6 months later, people started loving it. And then all of a sudden, we had all of these songs where we had really intense beats like Yeezus had in hardcore rapping over it because people weren't ready for the style yet, and then it becomes the thing. He was almost such an innovator that people get turned off by Kanye, but that's because of how amazing and intelligent and brilliant he is. And even the stuff that he's talking about on Ye, where he's exploring his own mental illness and speaking about it, extremely courageous. And then you also think about the entire group of good music that he's established. And I get to work with all of those artists in my record label. You know, we have Pusha T and Sci-Hi and Designer and Big Sean and Cudi and Kanye. I mean, one of my favorite songs is Erase Me. So I love getting these two guys together. I love Kanye West, and I really hope that, you know, he can get his career back in line. But whatever happens, I know he's going to be a fantastic producer, at least for the rest of my crew and for the rest of his lifetime.
Look, Kanye is, in his own right, probably one of the best, if not the best, artists of hip-hop ever, in terms of his ability to just touch so many different aspects of the genre, and, you know, the fashion aspects. The thing with Kanye is now, though, Connor, is I have to question the direction of the future of your label, because having Kanye as the headliner of your rap label is going to be the biggest headache of the rest of your life, basically. Because Kanye, did you listen to him on the Joe Rogan podcast like a couple months ago? The guy is not all there. He is not.
Yes. But the thing is, you still listen to him, right? And that's what you want. Any press is good press, baby.
It's like a car crash now. I mean, you can't look away. The guy, he's like a bad reality TV show. You just can't stop watching. So.
The thing is,
he's
the number 3 or 4 best-selling rap artist of all time, and you know he still possibly has a long career to go. So if I'm talking about a headliner, he is such a catalog that you could only play his old jams, and I'd still be fine forever. So I'm excited, but I definitely had Eminem above him as my headliner, as well as Jay-Z. So, you know, a little puts and takes. I waited for this far, but I'm definitely excited because of how expansive his network is. I mean, he was on a freaking reality TV show and married to Kim Kardashian, one of the biggest personalities of our country. And so the amount of press that I can consistently get and media attention. I mean, Kanye, for Christ's sake, he put on Donald Trump and wore a MAGA hat. And I mean, this guy is nuts. He's going to draw attention for my group. I'm excited to have his beats at least. And I think he can create some nice synergies with the rest of my crew. He's kind of like, you know, maybe he's in a little bit of a James Harden in Houston state right now. And we just got to get him to BK. We got to get him to the Nets so he can sauce with the right team. And I think putting him in the Connor record label, I think it's going to be perfect.
This is going to take every amount of your energy. All of your time is going to be dedicated to pleasing Kanye West for the rest of your life, Connor.
As it should be.
If I can get some free Yeezys out of it, it's worth it.
You might be able to live in his private compound that he's building out in Calabasas, California.
Oh my God.
I mean, if you want to talk about monetizing the rap industry and what he's done with his own sneaker brand, he's created one of the most iconic and sought after sneakers. And when you talk about hip hop, you have to notice that are large fashion implications, and he has certainly been an innovator in that field as well.
Cultural icon. Connor, I want to hear how you were comfortable waiting until the 5th round to not only take your headliner, but to take Kanye, because that's another guy who might not have always fallen to the 5th round.
I was worried that one of you guys would snap him up as a melodic because of the amazing things he did singing on 808s and Heartbreaks, and the ability for him just to be on a hook, and the amount of auto-tune and other things, the creativity he's done with his voice that other people haven't experimented with. So I was definitely a little bit worried, but because I saw you guys take your headliners early on, I think Ben took Jay-Z with his first pick, and you took Tupac with your second pick. So I was like, okay, now that I know that this group is rounded out for the headliners, I can wait a little bit. And so, I think it came time to make my shot.
It's a good pick.
Well done.
It's a good pick. The only thing is, he might ask you to move to Calabasas, and you might have to send your entire label in.
I'll join the cult. California. That's fine. I'll join the cult.
He's building aqueducts, and he's not doing solar. He's not doing solar energy though. He doesn't believe in solar energy. He does.
That's where he draws the line.
He doesn't believe in it.
That's not what Nikola Tesla had envisioned when he invented the electricity. Or
he definitely wasn't picturing Kanye. That's for sure.
And you might have to pay for his future presidential campaign a second time. So just keep that in mind when you.
I mean, you see the amount of attention and press it draws. I mean, Donald Trump has really monetized his presidential campaign, so maybe Kanye could do the same thing.
Dude, Kanye is the greatest character that has been selected and will be selected. You have multiple personalities with this guy, and but it's a good
like he could have been in every category with each one of his personalities.
I feel like I'm sounding like I'm negative on him, but College Dropout's probably my favorite album ever. Like I mean, I know it's maybe not even his most popular album, but for me, like my personal favorite, College Dropout is maybe my favorite album like ever produced, ever, published. And Kanye West you can't go wrong with that pick. The artistry is incredible.
Yeah, to get his production skills along with his rapping is definitely a big reason why I want him as my headliner.
Yeah.
Definition artist, bro. He's just, and sometimes artists are troubled, so you're gonna get the baggage, but
the Van Gogh, you slice your ear off.
Yeah. Worth his baggage to get just his artistry.
Today I thought about killing you.
His ability as a producer, he basically revolutionized sampling. Like he I mean, obviously he didn't invent it, but he really changed it and really changed like the thought that a voice could be an instrument, and the idea that a sample can be tweaked and auto-tuned and manipulated to sound a certain way to the ear, that he just always had a vision. Like early Kanye, I mean, the future for Kanye is very unpredictable, so I'll leave it at that. But the Kanye's career so far has just been a true visionary. The guy is, you could say all you want about how crazy he sounds sometimes, but he's an incredible visionary. So you definitely got somebody that's going to come up with some ideas for your label, Connor. All right, let me go into my next pick.
Let's hear it, baby boy.
My fifth member of my group here. I'm going to go with the hype man. I'm going to go with the hype woman. Give me Nicki Minaj. All right. I think Nicki. This is a little interesting.
Hot take.
Nicki is maybe not thought of as the greatest hype person, but for me, when Nicki gets on an album, it's always energetic. It's always hard. It's the woman doesn't put out verses that aren't well thought out, well delivered, succinct. And I think that Nicki always gets me in a mood that is always head bumping, always, just getting that grit face going. She's always just kind of mean about it.
Yeah.
And I think personally, she's the greatest female rapper of all time. And I mean, that's a little bit debatable, but I think she is possibly the greatest female rapper of all time. And I think I got that as my hype woman. I'm happy with it. I think that I mean, obviously 2 Chainz can also kind of dabble in that hype role.
Sure.
I got you can sprinkle in a little.
Yeah, so I think Nicki in this role as the hype woman, I think she's always going to bring the energy for my team. I think that she's going to, I'm a little bit worried about her hesitancy to, put out future music. I mean, she said she kind of was going to retire, but she already put out, I think, another song or so. We'll see how long this retirement lasts of hers. I think she just had a kid, or she's going to have a kid. I heard that her baby daddy might be, or her husband might be in jail. I don't know. I don't want to speculate with rumors, but I mean, the girl's personal life is her own. But you know, as an artist, as a rapper, I think Nicki Minaj is indisputed as one of the greatest 1, 2, 3 female rappers to ever get on a mic. It's always debatable, but in terms of, you know, respect, Nicki has it. So I would Nicki Minaj as my female member of my group. I'm really happy with having Nicki.
Her verse on Monster might be one of my favorite verses, and definitely my favorite female verse of all time. I mean, that song is incredibly hype, and I think her verse on that song might be the best. And you're talking about a song with Jay-Z and Rick Ross, and you know, so to go toe to toe with Jay-Z and outshine him on a song in 2010, early in her career, just incredible. I mean, she is the definition of like female hype, or close to it, because my pick might be better.
Yeah, I had to figure out the best way to mix in. I hadn't yet selected a female artist, and I feel like I really could have thrown like Rhapsody into my lyricist. I could have maybe gotten like Missy Elliott into hype. I could have gotten
Lil Kim.
Lil Kim's very good. There's a lot of good female artists, and I just had to figure out the best way to fit in. I had my hype man, my melodic, my bright future, and my psychedelic. I guess the only two options for a female for me right now would be hype or melodic. I went with the hype. I think that
I thought you might go Rihanna for the melodic. That would have been
that was my next pick.
Just in case Nicki went.
Exactly.
Sierra.
That was my plan B.
Ooh, Sierra. Russell won't like that though.
Yeah, that was heavily considering Sierra. Obviously had to go with B, the queen, you know, but I think, the great pick, Ben.
You 1-2 that one.
There you go.
All right. I'm going to go with my melodic artist. And this is, again, I'm going to go with a personal favor here because I'm not picking the most melodic person out there right now. I think there are a lot of amazing options that could have gone with here. But for me, for the sound that I'm looking for out of my label, I want this guy on my label. I want him in my sound. I want him incorporated in the future of my label that I'm cultivating here. And I think that he could have maybe been slotted into the role of a bright future artist, but because of the fact that I think his future is so bright because of the ideas that he's been cultivating already in his career, but he already has so much clout and so much respect and so much under his belt that I don't think he can technically be considered a bright future artist because he's already there. He's already one of the #1 names in the game. I'm gonna go with Chance the Rapper. And you guys, you know he's my boy, and I listen to a ton of Chance, and he's just one of my personal favorites. And his ability to sing is just underutilized or underappreciated sometimes. And that's why I'm gonna put him in the role as the melodic guy. I think he's very capable of fulfilling this role. But you know, I'm gonna lack a little bit in some of that. My label now, I don't have a pure singer in my group, but Chance his ability to really get soulful with his sound is a unique skill that he has that, you know, maybe only Drake can replicate or beat right now in today's game. I think that as a male artist, his ability to really toe the line as a hard rapper who could really spit very thoughtful and hard verses, and his ability to really just get, like I said, soulful and make you feel something, like, you know, how he does on Same Drugs, or a lot of, you know, that album with as a Coloring Book was a lot of very melodic tones in that album. And I think that that was really his biggest come up. I mean, Acid Rap's my favorite album of his, but
incredible.
Yeah, but I mean, you Coloring Book might have been, I think it was his highest grossing album in terms of money made. I think Coloring Book really,
I think it was his first like actual album. What was Acid Rap an actual album? Yeah,
Acid Rap was a mixtape.
Acid Rap probably should have been sold as an album because
obviously,
shot up the Billboard. But Ben,
look,
you picked an artist that.
I got Businessman. I got Jay-Z. I got Chance. Chance is leading he's a pioneer in terms of self-promoted artists. You know, he did the independent route, and he's one of the most rich rappers out there today. You know, he's
putting out Christmas music in the Christmas season. He's putting out sing-song stuff that you just said was his highest grossing album. It might have been, his one of the only albums at the time that he put out, but still, I think he's got the mixtape clout, and you managed to check one of your favorites as a box, but also you fit the category super well. I'm glad that he's on your squad. I was hoping you'd grab him.
Yeah, I feel bad leaving off some of these people that were, really deserve to be considered as melodic artists. I think like Childish Gambino is incredible as a singer. BJ, the Chicago Kid, is incredible. I'm just looking at this general list that I have put together as potential selections. But I mean, Travis Scott, with the auto-tune, can be considered a possible melodic guy.
T-Pain,
Future, T-Pain. So many options. Chris Brown. But this like I said, we're putting together a personal sound of our favorite artists, and I think Chance I had to find room for the guy here.
Good stuff.
All right, we're gonna roll into pick number 17 overall. Going back to you, Connor, slingshotting to you. Your last pick was Kanye as the headliner. You got on your squad, to summarize, you got Cudi, Kendrick, Drake, Biggie Smalls, and Kanye. Who you going with? These are 6 guys.
Wow, what a squad! Right? Just hearing those names one after the other.
The amount of albums sold on my team, I'm definitely taking a financial analyst point of view from this one. That was definitely like, I looked up like top grossing artists first of all, because I was like, all right, let's get that money. And speaking about some really popular artists and somebody who really knows how to monetize his sound and his brand, for trap, I'm going to take Travis Scott. I think he really embodies the sounds of Houston. And when you talk about Birds in the Trap Sing McKnight, and you talk about Astro World, he is just another person who's extremely innovative in what he is willing to do. And then he's also completely adapting to this new world that we live in that's online. He did a concert on Fortnite. I mean, talk about somebody who knows his fan base and can interact with the fans. Incredible. Another guy who dated somebody in the Kardashian-Jenner family as well, married to him, had a baby. So I like to have that connection there between Kanye and Travis Scott on the same team.
Relate to their breakup with the Kardashians. They can relate to that.
And then I also have Drake, and when you think about Sicko Mode, that might have been one of the most overplayed songs on the radio and on everyone's playlist I've ever heard. Yeah, and to have both of those artists on the same team, I'm really excited. So
might as well print
Travis Scott, baby.
Connor's label might as well print their own money. I mean, you got your own compound in Calabasas. You might as well start printing your own money. You start generating your own Federal Reserve out of Calabasas. So.
Jerome Powell might have to call up my record label if he needs to have more quantitative easing in the stock market, and for these stimulus checks, it might be my record label paying him out.
Dude,
Biden, give me a call.
How old is Travis Scott? Because I feel like his future is super bright as well. One of those guys that has already cultivated.
Is he 30?
Clout and respect. And 28. I just looked it up. 28 out of Houston. Full name: Hakes Berman Webster II.
Did not know that one.
You should go by that. That's a hell of a name.
It might be Jacques Hakes.
And obviously an extremely memeable person. If you remember, like the stuff with the mic stand and how insane he looked holding it over his head. He looked like SpongeBob as a caveman. Like this guy is just going to be a great trap artist, somebody who really embodies the sound of the South. And he has songs like Houston, Atlanta, Vegas, and stuff like that. Like really fun. Glad to have him on the team. Adding a little more young energy as well.
Love it. All right, awesome. So your next pick, you've got back-to-back 18 and 19 so far on your roster. You got Eminem, Tupac, Beyonce, Lil Jon, Lil Baby. Dude, you're getting real little on your own. That's your
Lil Wayne's coming next. You already know.
Yeah, dude, you got to get. No, I was kidding. All right, awesome. Who else you adding to your label here?
All right, brother. I'm gonna go with my boom bap artist next. One of my personal favorites. Been listening to him. Been studying him actually for years. KRS-One. And the father of boom bap. One of the fathers of boom bap. Nas is definitely up there as well. Benny Boy. But I have to pay homage to one of the greats here, because I think the theme of my label, I'm kind of realizing now, is truly embodying the subgenre that I'm selecting, right? So, Sound of the Police, I Can't Wake Up, Step Into My World, Into the World.
People are going to be studying your label. The music that your label produces is going to be studied for generations.
That's the hope. He just manages to always keep it real with his lyrics while still being super creative. The double and triple entendres that he includes while being funny at the same time, because you want to have the combination of being able to listen to it while still having it make you think a little bit, right? But it's got to be fun to listen to, and he's found that happy medium. I read somewhere that he just reads the dictionary for fun, like often. He's read it.
Something Eminem also does.
Yeah. So, I mean, that really, it impressed me, and I'm happy to have him.
It's a good pick. You're paying homage to some really incredible artists in the rap and hip hop community. I mean, let alone, I mean, you got Eminem, who's possibly one of the greatest rappers, if not the greatest rapper of all time. You got Tupac, who is your favorite rapper's favorite rapper. You got Beyonce, who's the queen. She's the greatest female
Queen
artist
Bee.
ever, basically.
Queen Bee.
You got, Lil Jon, who invented hype. Lil Baby, who's probably the most young and up and coming artist right now. Dude, this label you're putting together is amongst the hip hop pantheon of greats.
Appreciate it, brother. Appreciate it. Doing what I can. You guys can't say you haven't been taking some of my picks though. You guys got hot hands over there.
All right, buddy. You're going back to back here. Who are you following up with?
So this rounds out his team.
This rounds out my squad. So I'm gonna go obviously with my trap artist here, the person that I just think of immediately when I think of trap, and that is T.I. T.I. has long been given credit for coining the term trap music with his album Trap Music in 2003. He's got all the tracks that you and I have been singing for years, Ben and Connor. 24s, You Don't Know Me, Bring 'Em Out, What You Know. I mean, he manages to have that trap sound, that deep 808 rock your head sound with the high quality lyrics, which can sometimes be harder to come by, especially in a genre like this. The trap artist that you selected, Connor, you picked Travis Scott, right? He does the same exact thing. Great lyrics while maintaining that headbang feel. And he's been long thought of as the king of the South.
Yeah.
So
you still have one more guy to go. You got a psychedelic artist after this.
That's right. I do have. Okay.
But dude, the T.I. pick, excellent pick. The guy's an incredible businessman himself.
Yeah, I was gonna say another guy's been in some movies and some acting.
Yeah. T.I. is gonna take Lil Baby under his wing and make him a star. So T.I. I remember I still think of T.I. when I think of my first day of high school. I think of T.I. because my brother, him and I woke up. We had to go to high school at like 6 a.m. or it was early. I think it was still dark out. And I remember I was excited to start driving to school with my brother because we had to commute like an hour to high school. So it was a long drive. My brother was a senior and it was the first time we ever went to school together. And, obviously as a younger brother, you look up to your older brother. You'd be like, I listen to the same music. I listen to a lot of I used to just, emulate or try to, be like my older brother. And I remember the first song he put on in the car when we started driving, Top Back by T.I. And I remember thinking, that song fucking bumped, dude.
Don't tell mom I'm listening to it.
Down low. Dude, that song just gets you going, dude. And
the horns come in.
Yeah. Oh my God. I think of that song every time I think of my first day of high school. That was literally, we hopped in the car. It was like 6 a.m. And I'm just like, what is this, Zach? I'm like, oh, damn. Dude,
that's great, dude. I love that story.
T.I. is an incredible artist, someone that is probably a little bit underappreciated in terms of some of the greatest artists in hip-hop and rap, and someone who is just going to be always known for his great business acumen, his intelligence. Another guy, you said KRS-One reads the dictionary? I'm fairly certain T.I. does the same. I'm fairly certain he does. Very meticulous with the words that he chooses to say, and someone who is almost nerdy with the way that how educated and how smart and intelligent the man is. T.I., great selection for trap music.
Has that real southern draw to his rap too. Like you can tell he embodies the trap in the South.
Oh, yeah.
You know where he's from, and he's gonna rep it.
Love it. You know, and I really like T.I. on that Rhythm and Flow. I don't know if you guys have seen it on Netflix. It's like basically like American Idol, but for rappers. And it was Netflix produced. And Chance, Cardi B, and T.I. were the judges. Yeah. T.I. was my favorite judge, easily. T.I. knew what he was doing. I'm pretty sure he selected the artist that ended up winning, D Smoke. He ended up, I think he picked him in the beginning as someone that because they all like went through their hoods or whatever and selected people from their, you know, the regions of the U.S. And I'm fairly certain D Smoke was someone that T.I. ended up bringing into the competition. T.I., man, just has an eye for talent, someone who's incredibly talented in his own right. So love the pick, Cosm.
Thank you, brother.
All right, Connor, you're up. 20th overall. What roles do you have left, Connor?
I need to fill out my hype and my bright future roles.
Cool.
And this round, I'm going to take my hype man, and actually, it's also going to be my hype woman, somebody who's feuded with your hype woman, Ben. And I'm going with Cardi B. This woman is a ball of energy, just extreme. Like, you think of Bodak Yellow and you think about making money moves. I mean, that song comes on and your energy level rises. You gotta get out of your chair. And then she has other jams with rappers like Bad Bunny. You know, she taps into the different cultures, and then also she's married to, was it Offset? You know, one Offset. Of the Migos. So now I'm gonna get Migos coming into my crew a little bit, and they're gonna be featured on some songs. And so I have that whole synergy, really exciting. And also you get Cardi and her ad libs and all the videos, the Instagram. I mean, get her on stage too, even if she's just in the background. You know, she's gonna be going crazy. Former stripper, so you know she's got the moves. Like, she's gonna be hype all over the stage.
Oh yeah, I mean the shows. I saw Cardi B at the BET Awards maybe like 2-3 years ago, and she stole the show. It was with Migos and with Cardi B, and Lil Baby was there, and I think Trippie Redd were the main artists. And Cardi B has a knack for whatever she's doing, whatever, if she's performing, if she's on a song, a record, whatever she's
doing,
does,
an interview.
She has a knack. Exactly, an interview. She has a knack for stealing the show, making for just grabbing the attention of all the listeners, the consumers of the content that she's on. She just has a knack for just overshadowing the people that she's involved with, because she's just that talented. She's just got her own gravitational pull. The girl is just, you can't stop watching her. You can't stop consuming her content.
She could have easily been my bright future artist too.
Oh, well, Connor, I was going to say yet another artist that could sell out an entire stadium. She's basically if clickbait was a person, right?
Yeah. Coronavirus.
I mean,
real.
Connor, your label's got record sales and memeability and just that longevity for being able to stay out on the web forever, literally forever. I mean,
I want to be in front of people's faces. That's the goal with this team right here.
This is awesome, dude. Connor, you got the ultimate money-making business label.
He does. Multimedia.
Austin has the ultimate historically respected hip-hop label of just incredibly respected favorite rappers, your favorite rapper's favorite rapper, like I said. And then I feel like I'm going with my personal favorite sounds. Like I'm just kind of a mix between it all, because I'm a little bit between the two of you in terms of.
No, but Ben, frankly, I'm jealous of your squad because you're finding your favorites. Like, I have to give a quick shout out before the podcast ends to Big Crit, because he did not fit perfectly in one of these categories, and you eliminated the most underrated category, which I was a little hurt about, to be honest. But he would have been there, and the fact that you get to have a favorite, you should be happy about that. You know,
dude, but you should have thrown Big. He's not really a trap artist.
He sings. He does sing, so he could have been
most underrated. Would have been a great choice.
Mm-hmm. Big Crit deserves mentioning. I mean, that guy is an incredible artist.
For melodic, I was thinking melodic would have been Young Thug too. I love the way he can come on a song in chorus and just sing. Beautiful Thugger Girls was all singing, and that was one of my favorite albums. And it's weird to think about, you know, like a rapper singing an entire album. Love the way he can
work
with his vocals. So I want to give him a shout out because I love Young Thug.
Exactly, love it.
All right. I got 2 picks. I'm rounding out my team here with my last 2 selections.
Here we go.
I have
boss.
What are the categories, Ben?
I have bright future and I have psychedelic.
Yep.
So for my bright future artist, I'm gonna go with another personal favorite, Corday. And I don't know how familiar with you guys are with Corday, but in my opinion, has the most talent out of anybody in their young career so far. And if you listen to his album that he put out, and you remember had Chance on, Bad Idea, and Corday, for me, his lyricism it's already amongst some of the best in the current rap game. I mean, the Lost Boy album, I couldn't think of the name. The Lost Boy album came out in 2019, so 2 years ago now. Corday's, that album for me really put me on to Corday, and an artist. And I think that the guy's dating Naomi Osaka, basically she is the number one ranked female tennis player right now. Already has a sponsorship with Puma, so a businessman in his own right as well. A very fun individual, someone who, when you hear him speak, actually kind of has a little bit of a lisp. And when you hear him rap, he uses that kind of unique sound, as he's a great singer when he does it. And he also, like I said, incredible lyricist. Really, just the way he stays in the pocket and the way that he mixes up his rhymes and his lyricism is very, very, very talented. I think that he's got a very bright future ahead of him. I think Corday is someone who's underrated right now in the current rap game. I really like his music. Have you guys listened to any of his stuff?
A little bit. How old has he been? You didn't say his age, did you?
Is he like a teenager still? I mean, he's really young.
He's like young 20s.
22 though.
23 years old, out of Raleigh, North Carolina. Corday Amari Dunstan.
Stud.
He dropped out of Townsend University, so he was going to school in Baltimore, I believe. Townsend's in Baltimore, I think, and just really knew that he was destined for greatness in rap. That's how he kind of says it. He was very confident in his ability to, and you could see how confident he is when he raps. And I think he's a very talented guy, and I'm really glad that I got him on my label. Someone who's already worked with Chance, so someone who's already on my label.
That's cool. Synergies.
And he's already worked with a lot of great artists. So someone that I think that I'm excited to bring on board the Benny P's rap label here as the young up and comer. So let me roll into my last selection here. I round out my roster again. I'll read off who I got so far. I got actually, let me give you my pick and then we'll read it off. Okay.
All right.
My psychedelic artist. And the reason why I held back on this one is because Kid Cudi is the psychedelic artist. He's number one.
It's my first pick. Yeah.
Yeah. So I have to go with my plan B here as a psychedelic, and my personal favorite's Mac Miller, but I'm not going to go with Mac Miller because I am downgrading him for being sounds terrible. I'm downgrading him for being deceased. And so I don't think he
could have been a melodic too, the way he sings and flows.
I love Mac Miller, but I think that the next guy who I think of with psychedelic stuff is Wiz Khalifa. So give me Wiz as my psychedelic guy. I think that he, alongside Kid Cudi, really encapsulates the psychedelic genre. Someone who's just always smoking weed. He tweets out every morning, basically, just woke up, go smoke some weed to start your day or something like that. Like the guy, he lives the lifestyle. He lives.
Roll one up and start your day. I think
yeah. And the guy is, someone that every artist who ever dreams of trickling into the psychedelic genre dreams of getting on a record with Wiz Khalifa. Guys like Logic, these guys really just want to work with Wiz Khalifa and
you get the partnerships with Snoop too.
Totally. Austin and I saw Snoop and Wiz Khalifa perform together in Massachusetts, and
they put a movie out together. What is it, Mac and something in high school or something? What was it? We watched it sophomore year, Austin.
Yeah, I can't remember the second name. Mac and
was it Mac and Cheese? Was it? Like, honestly, that was so funny though. That was a ride of a movie.
Del or Dev? Mac and Dev.
Devin.
Yeah, that's exactly it. Mac and Devin.
That was a great movie. So you got the movie aspect. He's an actor.
Yeah, and I don't think Wiz is the greatest rapper. I think he might be in terms of talent, probably one of the lower talented rappers that we've selected so far, just because we're talking about the greatest of all time in hip hop. And so for me, he's maybe top 50 in terms of like talent as a hip hop artist. But we talk about psychedelic ability in this subgenre. I mean, Wiz Khalifa encapsulates that. So I'm gonna go with Wiz as my psychedelic artist.
That's a great.
If you're partaking in some legal marijuana in your state, putting on some Wiz Khalifa is going to be a very nice experience. Yeah. Absolutely.
Most everybody has a Wiz song or two on their playlist for that reason, Lars. I mean, Ben, you're going to get to work with Taylor Gang, right? You're going to get to work with all those other artists that come along with Wiz, Smoke DZA, Currency, to say a few.
And he's also, he's also had the ability to, we talked about the importance of making money as a label. He also has the ability to do that. I mean, he has albums like the record with Charlie, what's that one, the Fast and Furious song, See You Again. That's a commercial song. Huge. That got millions and millions of listens. And Young, Wild and Free was a very, very commercial popular song with Snoop. Sucker for Pain. I mean, those are very popular songs that Wiz could get on, but he also has some of like that feel of like a mixtape rapper and a guy who gets in the underground hip hop community as well. So I really personally, my favorite song of his, one of my favorite songs that I still listen to today, it's probably not my favorite Wiz, but my guilty favorite that, when it comes on in my rotation of songs that I listen to on my Spotify, I gotta give homage to Be Okay off Rolling Papers 2. And have you guys listened to that song?
Yeah.
Great song. I just really
it's a deep cut. I'd say it's a deep cut.
It's not one of his most popular joints, but it's one of my guilty favorites. One of those songs that I just for the purposes of this podcast, bringing attention to things that we really enjoy listening to and consume as in this genre of music. Be Okay is a song off Wiz Khalifa. If you haven't heard it, you should. It's a good song. It has like that has a little bit of a tambourine on the hi-hats, and it's one of his. He raps about how he his relationship with his ex-wife basically, and he just talks about how he's okay with he got his family and his friends, and he's okay, that, and he's got his son, and that's his life. And I think that's a song that I just wanted to pay homage to, because I think Wiz is a guy that gets underappreciated sometimes in terms of he's got such a plethora of songs that he's put out that so many of them get overlooked because of the quantity over starting to tip
Black and Yellow, or It's Nothing. Like he's got so much.
I was just gonna say that
one of those guys that the quantity almost overtips the quality, because he's at peak Wiz. I mean, the guy's an awesome artist. Sometimes I don't think he gets considered as one of the greats because of he puts so much stuff out that sometimes it's like, oh, this is just another Wiz song. It sounds like all the other hundreds of songs that he's put out. So
that's notorious for happening in the pop hip hop genre. They tend to kind of sound alike sometimes. And I want to give a quick shout out to just what you're saying. If you're a listener out there who has only heard Black and Yellow, Forward, Wiz Khalifa, do yourself a favor and dive deeper into the mixtape Wiz, like Cabin Fever, Kush and OJ. I mean, How Fly, any of them. Pick them. You'll find an appreciation for the sound that he had before he was really that radio pop hip hop star that you hear now.
Totally. So to round out my team, I got Jay-Z, Nas, 2 Chainz, J. Cole, Nicki Minaj, Chance the Rapper, Cordae, and Wiz Khalifa.
Oh, dude. Heavy hitters.
Yeah, this is a fun exercise, dude. All of our teams are just like, I
feel bad for all the artists we're leaving off, too.
I know. We'll have to do a little bit of a
Lil Wayne and Future, like, oh my God.
Right?
These
Lil
guys
Wayne
are
is the biggest snub so far for me. All right, Connor, you're going with your last selection.
All right, Lars.
Of our draft here, 23 overall, second to last selection. Austin's going to close it out after this. Connor, your last artist is your Bright Future artist?
It is my Bright Future artist, and it's somebody who's very similar to Austin's Bright Future artist. It's not Lil Baby, but it's Da Baby. And this guy came onto the scene, and all of a sudden he's already got like 10, 15 hits. Like out of nowhere, you have like Bop and Suge and Rockstar, and with a song like Rockstar 2, you see the different abilities he has where he can sing a little bit and be more melodic, but also he can come on in a song like Bop and just go heavy and hard like Suge and get you jacked up. And he's another person who's always in front of a camera, and he's starting controversy, and he's creating media attention. So he's going to fit right into the roster of crazies that I put together, and we're just going to be having an insane party on the Connor Larson record label over here.
Oh, dude, this is a fun label. You
the
guys.
Big Sexy label, baby.
Dude, my favorite the baby moment is his music video on Going Baby, where have you seen that? He's on like a commercial airline, and they're telling him like something about how he's like breaking the rules or something like that, or he has something he's doing on the plane that is making them take him off basically. And he's like, you know what? I'm gonna fly private. He's like, fuck this, like, fuck you, like I'm gonna go fly private. And on the music video, he goes hops on a private jet, and he's like, I'm going baby on baby, and dude, it's so funny. He's got like a little fake baby with him and stuff like that. It's so that's one of his older songs on the album Baby on Baby, but this is a great pick. Somebody with a very bright future, and
fits perfectly into his label, doesn't it, Ben?
Totally. I mean, I could totally see the baby working with Drake, and dude, I love the pick. Kendrick, that would be a great combination. Travis Scott, that would be awesome. The baby and Travis Scott. I like the pick, Connor. I think that the baby has got some of the brightest futures.
And he's someone whose lyrics and whose beats can be extremely intense, like Notorious B.I.G. too. And so I see some of the influence that he's had on somebody else on my team in DaBaby, and I'm excited for his future. Another really young and up and coming artist who's extremely popular and has the chance to even grab more market share.
Yeah. Oh man, what a great dude. When you think of the baby songs, they get stuck in my head, dude. I could like just picture so many different songs of his that just like they're just like earworms. They just get in your head, and it's just like they're just so catchy. He's got he's got such great rhythm that when he rhymes and he keeps the rhythm flowing, it's like he's a great delivery. The delivery of his is amazing.
Like my wife doesn't necessarily love rap music, and when I have like some of the more hardcore rap music on, but then DaBaby comes on and she's like, oh, I love this, what is this? And I'm like, oh, this is like rap music too. This is pretty heavy, but the way he's able to cultivate the beat and the way he's able to rap over it, it's just different. It's a completely different sound.
I like it. All right, Connor, let's read off the rest of your roster here. You went with Kid Cudi, Kendrick Lamar, Drake, Biggie Smalls, Kanye West, Travis Scott, Cardi B, and DaBaby. Dude, what a freaking label, man. You're gonna make millions and billions of dollars with this label, dude. I like it.
This is like the Tim Cook and Bill Gates and Jeff Bezos of record labels right here.
Yeah.
They walk out their door, they're making money already, bro.
Money is falling out the pockets. We can't hold it all.
It's effortless for that label. High maintenance, but effortless.
It's going to be a lot of energy on my end to be able to manage this crew.
You're never going to sleep.
Who's in jail now? Who did what? Who did Kanye punch?
You're not going to be surprised. You will not. Nothing will surprise you. Any phone call, you will not know what to expect. Kanye West will be calling you at 3 a.m. in the morning, and you will be like, "What now, Kanye? What's up?" Like,
did you hear what DaBaby just did? I got a problem.
All right, Austin, round us out here. The last selection of our fantasy style hip hop rapper draft. You got a great squad going. Bring it home. Who's the last artist you're gonna go with?
All right, finishing strong here with another artist that sort of embodies and really speaks to their category. Currency. It's my psychedelic or my stoner hip hop artist, and just one of the most consistent artists I've ever listened to. Always fitting right into his category. It can, tether you to a certain spot, but the amount of music that he releases, the amount of high quality music he releases, just keeps him in that just consistent top tier artist level, in my opinion.
Yeah.
His mixtapes were so on point. Artists like him never really needed to release albums on major labels. Like Acid Rap we were talking about earlier. If that had been released as an album, he wouldn't have had to do another project for years, right?
Yeah.
So New Jet City, the Pilot Talk series, Stoned Immaculate, How Fly with Wiz, I already mentioned earlier. Cigarette Boats is one of my personal favorites. I could go on and on. This is an artist where the quantity does not teeter his quality. Welcome, Currency, Spitta Andretti.
I love the pick. One of you, again, we talked about how we were trying to find our personal favorites. Currency, I know, is one of your personal faves.
Yes, sir.
Also, someone who I think kind of can get lumped in with the same kind of themes that we were talking about with Wiz Khalifa in terms of. I love Currency, but I don't listen to as much of his music as you, because someone who puts out so much music that it's overwhelming sometimes.
It is.
And he has a very similar sound as Wiz does sometimes, you know, and he'll have you know, records where 90% of, or maybe that's not doing it justice. Maybe like half of the records that you listen to of his on the new stuff that he'll put out will be like the same sound that you heard Currency 2 years ago. And so you listen to it and you're like, it's good for 1 or 2 listens, but then it doesn't have as much re-listen capability.
Yeah.
But for me, Currency is, like you said, encapsulates this subgenre of psychedelic artistry in rap and hip hop. I mean, somebody who, I think we picked 3 guys as our psychedelic rappers who perfectly, like that might be one of our best subgenre selections, because Cudi and Wiz and Currency might be my top 3 when it comes to this type of rap.
Yeah. For me, there's a couple other, because, you know, Schoolboy Q is one of my favorites. You know, Groovy Q. He's got song like Collard Greens. He's always got the hippie glasses on. I mean, he really lives that groovy lifestyle. And then somebody who is an old head in the game, Juicy J, would have been also a fantastic pick. Really fun category. Love your guys' picks. Just wanted to shout out those guys because, and Snoop, of course, too. So wanted to shout out those 3 because definitely deserve to have their names be at least mentioned in the honorable mention there.
For sure. Dude, yeah, I mean, we could go on for days talking about our favorite artists, because I mean, we talking about snubs. I mean, I really love Big Sean. I love Black Thought as a lyricist. Both those guys. Anderson .Paak is an incredible melodic artist who also plays the drums when he raps. Jeremiah can hop on any track in the rap and hip hop community right now and be a guy that brings soul and melody to any track that he hops onto. Khalid is another guy who sings very well in this genre.
How about Frank Ocean, if you want to talk about a singer?
Yes. Great Frank Ocean. I really love Vic Mensa. I think Vic Mensa's got a bright future. His last project that he put out, what was it called? It had Machiavelli, and it was a great little project that he put together. I think Vic Mensa puts out good stuff. No Name is a female rapper who gets underappreciated sometimes. She's an incredible lyricist. I mean, we could go on forever.
Lupe Fiasco as a lyricist, or Waka Flocka as a hype man. Like there are some
has one of my
fantastic
favorite albums ever. Lupe, the Cool, Lupe Fiasco is the Cool. One of my top 5 favorite albums of all time.
As it should.
Incredible album. Man, Dr. Dre didn't get selected.
Or Pharrell, you know.
Well, DMX,
Rick Ross, Ricky Rose, dude. Oh man.
Yeah, man.
Andre 3000 is one of the greatest lyricists ever. I mean, incredible. DMX
French Montana could have been a fun hype man too. With
DMX
that,
would have been a hype man too.
Andre 3000 and DMX were both this close to being a part of my label. I mean, really, like razor thin.
Common is incredible lyricist as well. I mean,
lyricist Killer Mike, and he's somebody who was active in the political game too, and so not just in his music, but he really lived it. He lives what he speaks in his songs, which is really awesome.
And then the Migos, Quavo, Offset, Take
right.
So
some of those groups too we avoided. The reason
why I feel like they weren't selected is because they're the Migos.
Right.
I mean, they all compensate for their shortfalls, because I feel like Quavo is incredible at what he does, but he needs Offset and Takeoff to bring the lyricism and the delivery. And then Offset is an incredible lyricist and incredible delivery, but he needs Quavo to bring the feels and
in the hook, you know.
The hooks.
That's exactly right. Yeah.
And Takeoff is possibly the most talented of the bunch, and Takeoff, but also really needs, like, I think Quavo really.
He's the glue to the 2 hardcore rappers between those guys. Yeah, absolutely. They make a very fantastic combo. You know, it's like a lasagna. They got all the different layers. You got the cheese and the sauce and the meats. It's a fantastic trio there.
Just to speak to groups again, I feel like another group that would have been taken had we not made the alterations to the group category this draft, Ben, 3 6 Mafia and Flatbush Zombies.
Yeah,
I mean,
and A Tribe Called Quest too.
Obviously,
Tribe Called Quest, NWA, Public Enemy.
I mean, looking back,
Run DMC.
it's hard to pick apart those groups because of the value that the entirety of the group brings.
Exactly.
Right.
You know?
You don't want just one piece.
I don't want just one piece. Yeah.
Yeah, dude, this was so fun though. I mean, we got to talk about some incredible artists. I'm really looking forward to seeing how this turns out because we're going to start incorporating some music and some stuff into the podcast. And I think that we really had some of the most talented and very just fun artists to talk about and to listen to. And if you don't get anything but this out of this podcast that we put together today, it's you should hear an artist or two at least that we discussed today that maybe you need to bulk up on. Maybe you need to listen to more of their stuff if you haven't already, because there's 24 guys that we selected here that deserve listening, deserve respect, and deserve your time and attention. And if you haven't observed these artists and the ones that we also mentioned in our snub categories, you should, because they are important in the hip hop community. And if you like rap and hip hop, you need to, start. If you listen to it and you don't know a lot about these artists that we discussed, you got to broaden your horizons a little bit, and I'm sure that we're missing some people. I mean, we could go on for hours, like I said. I mean, just off the top of my head right now, just have MF Doom deserves some nod. Yeah. He just passed away last month. Somebody who is an all-time lyricist, an all-time rhythmic rapper, and a boom bap guy in his own right too. MF Doom was incredible. Some guys that like these teams that we put together are awesome. But Austin, I didn't read off your team. So let me read off your whole label.
Let's hear it, baby.
Let's listen to it as a group here. We got Eminem, Beyonce, Lil Jon, Lil Baby, KRS-One, T.I., and Currency. Oh,
there we have it.
Fun. What a fun bunch that would be.
That's gonna be a good time. In the studio, cranking out, dude. It's gonna be a good time.
The quality of the sound that bunch would put together would be impeccable. That would
fantastic. Be Imagine being able to see Eminem and Tupac in the studio together.
I was just gonna say that.
Bouncing lines off of each other. Oh my god.
The creativity that's gonna come out of that group, it should be second to none. Might not sell as many seats out like your label would, Connor. I think the albums that are gonna come out in particular, obviously they're great live as well, but the albums coming out of that studio would be, I mean,
the re-listen quality of your group is going to be fantastic. Just some like, if you're doing your homework or something, I would want to put on your team's albums for sure and just have that running through my head, the intelligence, the lyrics that's going to come from that group.
Yeah, I think that out of the people that Connor and I selected, if we asked them who you think put together the best label, I would say Austin. They would say Austin's label, because Austin has 1 through 8 are your favorite rappers, favorite artists, and the guys that everybody who has made it or made a name for themselves in this genre of music really pays homage to a lot of the people that Austin selected in his label. I really like it. I think that, like I said, Austin has the historically excellent label. Connor has the commercial success and the money making team. And I think I got a good sound, but man, what a fun exercise that was.
It was a great time, man. Great time. Appreciate you having us on again. ATA, all things analysis, man. I'm happy to be here. It's been a great time.
Right.
Thank you for joining on.
No, it wasn't so bad, right, Austin? A good time.
Not at all, man. Not at all. I mean,
we don't bite.
No, dude, I love it. I love what you guys are putting out. I see your content on all the platforms. Try to support it when I can. Always trying to put the homies on.
Dude, Austin is probably our biggest fan. Likes all of our SoundCloud tracks and our Spotify tracks. And dude, Austin is a big ATA guy, and we appreciate bringing him on. It was about time. So,
my pleasure, man. My pleasure. Thanks again, guys.
Yeah, Austin. Anything you want to plug? A project you're working on? A social media account you'd like to plug? Anything?
Friends, family.
Yeah, shout out to my beautiful girlfriend, Emma Brett, real quick.
Of course.
My dog, Ravioli. Obviously, Ravioli.
Ravioli.
McCusker, my girl. most beautiful English Springer Spaniel you've ever seen.
I was gonna say, dude, you picked Eminem, and I was like, it sounds a lot like Emma. Like, no wonder this was the first pick. Emma, Nem. You know, like, come on now.
It's brained in my head.
That sounds like that. We're on the track to the name of Austin's label. It's got to be M something.
My first pick is Emma, Nem.
M Excellence or something like that. Or
That's great. No, man, I'm just, this was one of the highlights for the pandemic for me. Obviously, I haven't been able to get out as often, lost touch with friends. Totally. Don't do this stuff nearly enough. So
not enough, dude. That was another aspect of why this was important for me to, bring the bunch together, because this pandemic is separating friends, and for us, our friendships, I feel like, we hopped on this Zoom call together, and no time's passed. We pick up where we left off, but sometimes,
I feel like we're in the studio together, just whipping it, chopping it up,
cooking.
Sometimes you got to set time apart, to just get in a call together and catch up. I'm really disappointed we couldn't get a little Shazad on here. We got a little senior year roommate
reunion,
but
I would love that next time.
That'd be a lot of fun. All right, thanks guys.
Shazad, we called you out. That's it right there. You got to come on now.
Dude, little Shaz, Shazad is hesitant.
He's big Shaz now.
Podcast. Yeah, he's big Shaz. I still think of him as my little son, but
falling asleep while he's writing a paper, slumped over in a chair.
Oh yeah,
exactly.
When does that do? 7 a.m.
passing out like in a room in Williams, and just like picking up on, put him on your shoulder and just bring him home and
sleeping like a zombie.
Man, I love that kid. But man, what a great time this was. Really appreciate you guys taking the time to do this. Looking forward to getting it out and hearing the feedback that listeners have, because I think we really paid some great homage to some amazing artists. And if you think we missed somebody, if you really think that there was a big snub that we didn't mention, as a listener, please let us know. We would love to hear everybody's opinion. That's what this is all about. Sharing your opinions about music that we really love to listen to. Everybody's different in terms of their individual tastes and favorites in these genres of music. Music is really about individuality and how you experience it. And I think that we, encapsulated our personal favorites and our personal, guys that we wanted to highlight and mention here. So
I think you learn a little bit about each of us in our rosters here too, which is cool. I can see Austin's style coming through in his picks and your style coming through in yours, Ben, and clearly mine too, and what we're each focused on. So that you guys learn a little bit about us too in terms of who we're picking on our teams.
Totally. All right. We're going to wrap it up here. Remember, everybody, I really appreciate you listening. Remember to follow All Things Analysis on our social media content. We're on Facebook, we're not on Snapchat, sorry. Facebook, Instagram,
we'll cut it
Twitter, out. YouTube. What else do we got, Connor? LinkedIn,
StockTwits.
Go to allthingsanalysis.com. Subscribe on our website. We got a reboot coming. ATA is blossoming. We got some new content coming up. I'm going to be covering some Major League Baseball preview for the upcoming season. Really looking forward to that. So be sure to subscribe to ATA, allthingsanalysis.com, to know when that article is first published. I'll be tweeting it out as well on our social media. Also, please subscribe, rate, review Vicious Talk with Benny P. Really appreciate you guys listening on all the SoundCloud, all the podcast platforms, Spotify, SoundCloud, Apple Podcasts, Podcast One, Google Podcasts. We're on all of them. Really appreciate all the support we've been getting. This is, again, episode 64. So we've got a little bit of a catalog under our belt now, and we're going to keep building on it. So really appreciate it. All right, everybody. Thank you again for listening. We're going to wrap it up here. Remember to ask yourself at the end of the day, are you vicious?